is Samantha Stone, and we're going to talk about best buddies and grants for small businesses and a whole bunch of other things that are happening around the city today. So lots of good stuff. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Samantha.
So we have St. Patrick's Day this week, which means like there's all kinds of corned beef waiting to be cooked in my house. I am not of Irish descent, but I pretend to be on that one day a year. Do you have any special traditions that you follow?
No, I mean, it's the same thing. I'm Irish and Scottish, and we have a pretty significant Irish population in the city, as you know. So there'll be places across the city. I know the Irish American Club historically does something on St. Patrick's Day. The Lions Club is back at it with Needle Night. That was after a 2-year layoff, so they're getting that program going again. And there'll be a flag raising for on St. Patrick's Day at 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. And what else was there? No Boys Club. Usually they have a big fundraiser for St. Patrick's Day, but that's going to take one more year of a hiatus. So yeah, there's quite a few different options, and that's about it.
That sounds super fun. I know I saw, unrelated to St. Patrick's Day, but there's the Blues Festival coming up towards the end of April. That's always fun, and they raise money for the Veterans Association, right? The Blues of Veterans.
Yeah, that's the Blues Veterans Group. It's not to be confused with their festival they have in August. So it's a smaller one. I think they do it at the VFW, but they still have it's a pretty good fundraising event. It's much smaller than the outdoor festival they have in September.
Yeah, well, we get that nicer weather going consistently, so we can all get back outside again.
Yeah, it's coming.
I love it. The one sort of question a lot of folks had reached out to me over the last couple of weeks and asked about, and I know we've talked about this before, is what's been going on in terms of the football team. And I do not want to ask you about the student or any of the scenarios. We've discussed that, and there are other people who are closer to it. But I do want to share a question that's come quite a lot, and really just asking for your point of view as mayor. Do you feel that there's been enough accountability and enough work across the city to make sure that we're doing all the right things to address the concerns that have been raised around harassment and some of the culture things that people have raised on the football team?
Well, I think it's, from the perspective of, where we are as a city, I think it's moving in the right direction towards, some accountability, and, the police have done their job. The district attorneys has done their job, and that's a different level. What's happening in the schools, there's still, as I said, there are still reports being done, which I can't comment on. So, it's still a work in progress, and that's about all I can say at this point.
Okay. Awesome. I just wanted to remind folks who are listening, because this is something that I used to forget all the time. We got the censuses that came in, right? That come from the city every year. And, I didn't always remember how important it was to fill out the census. So aside from maintaining your voter registration and filling it out, there's actually, correct me if I'm wrong, we use those responses. That's how some of the funding from the state and things are calculated, based on confirming census data. Is that correct?
Well, the big census, which was just done, the federal census, that they're all important. And there's so many. I think what the best thing to do would be to have Lindsay in from the city clerk's office to talk about it, and even old friend Bill Campbell, who was really big on the census. And we also have Bill Galvin from the Secretary of State, and he, I'm sure if we give him some notice, he'd love to come in and talk about the census. So that's probably a show in itself, Samantha. So you could have those three come in, and they're the experts on the census. But in my understanding,
we can learn more than anyone ever wanted to know about the census, right?
Oh yeah, you might. I guess be careful what you wish for. You ask me that casual question, you might get a. But
you know what? I'm strange enough to, I want to know. Like, I'm now super curious about all the ways that this is used. So.
Yeah, but it's the federal one that they just completed, which is big for for a number of reasons, for the redistricting the voting lines, and as you said, determining what we get for federal aid, which is pushed down to the state and to our level. So yeah, I think that I'd certainly be happy to work with you on getting one or all three of those people on one of your shows.
Yeah, no, I will definitely follow up with you and we'll loop Jen into that. That would be, I think,
Okay.
great to
Yep.
educate us on that. I know dog registrations are part of the census. So if you have a pet, that's don't forget to sort of check that in there and make sure you get
Yep.
the license and everything updated, because they use that to monitor, to make sure all the dogs are up to date on their, their shots and inoculations and things to keep everybody healthy. So
That's good. A good
Awesome.
point.
yeah. Anything else going on you want to share with us?
Anything? Not particularly. I'm trying to think what big events have happened in the past, or no. I mean, I guess not really. I think that's about it for now.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you as always, Scott, for joining us. We'll
Thanks,
we'll
Samantha.
work on getting all the census information. It's gonna be a fun thing to dig into.
Great. Good to talk to you.
You too. I love it. Well,
Yep, bye.
I'd next like to introduce Emma. Emma, join us for today, who is here to talk about all the things happening at Best Buddies. Welcome, Emma.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm super excited to have you chat with us. So the Best Buddies, for those folks who aren't familiar with the program, let's start by just describing what it is.
So Best Buddies is a group at Woburn Memorial High School that is all about including people, including students with IDD, which is intellectual and developmental disabilities. So we pair a peer buddy, which is one of the students, with a best buddy, which is the student with IDD. And we have a bunch of events and we just help everyone feel included and welcomed into the school.
I absolutely love that. I think that's such a great opportunity for people to get to know each other who might not interact in other ways. They might not have classes together. They might not be part of the sports they enjoy or other types of clubs and activities. So what a great program. How did you first get involved?
So I was in middle school and I was just at lunch and I saw one of the buddies who was sitting alone at lunch, and I didn't know much about Best Buddies, and so I decided that I would go sit with him to try and make a new friend. And then the advisor of the program asked me to join because she saw how good I was with that student, and I was super excited.
Oh, well, I love it. I think that's such a wonderful way. As you look back, I know that there's a lot of benefits for the students, the Best Buddies who participate in the program, but I imagine there's some great benefits to the peer students as well, who get an opportunity to interact with folks they might not otherwise. Tell us a little bit about what you've gotten from the program.
It's honestly, this program has just taught me to include everyone and make everyone feel welcomed, because at the end of the day, like, you don't know what someone's going through, and it's just awesome. It's just like you just have to be nice to people because they're people too, and they just deserve the attention and love that everyone else gets.
I think that's wonderful. And what in some ways, simple ways to help out and do some really incredible good that you can see right away. There's a fundraiser coming up. Tell us about that.
So we're having a March Madness fundraiser, and we're having a big basketball event, and everyone is welcomed, students, parents, anyone. And we're going to be selling t-shirts and water bottles, bracelets. There'll be food, and we're just going to play basketball and have fun.
I like the sound of that. Tell me how folks can get involved. So is there like a website, or what day is the event? And we'll have people make sure to look out for it.
So the event is March 24th at 6:15. It's in the Woburn High School gym, and we've been accepting donations. They can just message anyone from Best Buddies, and just people have been donating baskets and even money and gift cards and everything just to help.
That's awesome. And that's for a raffle that you're running, right?
Yeah, they'll be big.
That's awesome. And then tell us a little bit about how the money gets used. What types of activities does it sponsor and such?
So it helps us fund for our events that are coming up, such as the Best Buddies prom and like the end of the year parties and everything. And then we also use the money that we raise to send our next president to the leadership conference.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a great opportunity. So the Best Buddies program is a program outside of Woburn, and then you get a chance to meet other folks. And oh, that's great. I didn't realize that happened. So Emma, thank you so much for joining us. And for all of you who are watching, I encourage you to find a way to support the program, whether it's go out there and cheer for people having fun on the court, or buy a t-shirt, or donate a raffle item and such. It's a really great opportunity to help bring communities of different people together and in a fun and enjoyable way. Thanks for joining us, Emma.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So we're going to completely switch gears now, and we're going to talk about something totally different, but equally important, which is supporting our small businesses in the community. Please welcome Electra, who's the president of the Woburn Chamber of Commerce. And I'm very proud of myself for not calling it the Business Association. I spent years doing that, and I'm trying to untrain myself.
It's true. It was known as the Woburn Business Association for many, many years, but we are now officially the Woburn Chamber of Commerce.
I love it. So before we dig in and talk a little bit about some of the exciting small business grants that are there, there's a fun networking activity coming up at Cornhole. It is like the only sport that I might mildly pass as being able to do, for the record. And it's usually just pure luck that I do that. But tell us a little bit about that event and who should be participating.
Yes. And so we have a cornhole tournament coming up on the 23rd, which is a Wednesday evening. Check-in starts at 5:30, and then bags fly at 6 p.m. And it is open to the public. It is for people who want to come and just simply network and say they don't want to play. That is also an option, but you can sign up in teams, or you can sign up as an individual, and you'll be paired with someone to play. We're going to do a round robin format. And so a company called Wicked Cornhole is helping us. And I didn't mention, we're doing this at the Crown Plaza in Woburn. And so many thanks to both Wicked Cornhole and the Crown Plaza for hosting us. But it promises to be fun. Raffle prizes, there will be a winner. My husband and I are competing, and so it's going to be interesting.
I love it. You know, I played cornhole for the first time a couple years ago. I was at a retreat professionally, and they had an evening out, and they had the cornhole. And I don't have a lot of athletic ability. I'm an active person. I do a lot, but eye-hand coordination is not my strength. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. And I finally got waylaid in. Myself and my partner won, and I made the winning shot that was like, no way I could make it. I still to this day don't know how it happened. It was an incredible moment. So I say all of that just to encourage people, even if you've never played before, or you're not great at it, or you generally don't like these things, this is actually one of those really fun sports that everyone can participate in. So.
It's true. And I just want to mention that a portion of the proceeds are going to be going to Irish Angel, which is a local charity supporting first responders and ensuring that they have options for help of healthy lifestyle support for PTSD, depression, anxiety. It is very, very difficult to be a first responder. And so this is an organization that helps support these amazing people.
Oh, I'm so happy that you mentioned that. That's a really great organization, and a great group of people who deserve our support. And it's great to have those resources. So an extra reason to go out there and have fun, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. I want to talk a little bit about small business grants. So there is actually quite a substantial amount of money that is coming from federal and state grants that our local small businesses can apply for. Tell us a little bit about those grants and what that application process looks like. Sure.
So the Mass Growth Capital Corporation, otherwise known as MGCC, is sort of a local organization from Massachusetts that helps administer these grants. And so we recently sent out a, hey, small business community, did you even know that these grants were available? And they are, and it's something that honestly in the business community, you kind of have to keep your nose out there and looking for news to understand what these options are. But the ones we're talking about right now is specifically designed for the small businesses. And that's really defined as a business that has at 2 to 50 employees, and that they are sort of making an annual revenue of 40 to 2.5 million a year. They've been in business for at least since September of 2020. And really it is about helping these small companies who have been negatively impacted by all that we've gone through with the pandemic. And so the eligibility does look to say, okay, do you fit these criteria? And do you show the negative impact to your company and the business? And so grant amounts are 10,000 to 75,000. And the deadline is April 4th to get your registration. And so if these criteria sound like, you know what, we're in the threshold here, it's worth exploring. These are grants. They're not loans. They're
I
not
was
low
just
interest
going to
loans, they're
ask you to
grants.
confirm that, right? Because this is a really big thing, right? Like, look, there's paperwork. It's a pain.
Yes,
We
yes.
acknowledge it, but this is not money you pay back. This is
That's
not
right.
a loan or a low interest loan. This is, I won't call it free money because you have to do some work to do it. But I hope many businesses, we are lucky in Woburn to have a strong residential and commercial base. We have lots of smaller businesses here. We have some big ones too. But this is a great opportunity. And for someone who's feeling intimidated by the application process, where do you recommend they reach out to get some help?
Well, I will tell you, the website, it does a decent job laying out guidelines with examples. And so that's always a good place to start to just get your understanding. One thing to note is in order for it to be, the notion is that this is going to be applied to primarily paying employees and their benefits. And so it's not a grant that you can use however you choose. It needs to be applied to employees. It can be applied to utilities, rent and mortgage, operating costs, particularly around how you've had to adapt your business to do business during COVID, whether that means outdoor space, social distancing, shifts to what safety procedures. This is how the money is to be spent. So I just wanted to note that, but start with the website and start to educate yourself. I would also recommend speaking with your the person who helps you do your taxes, your accountant, because there is a bunch of paperwork that you have to gather, and they can help you because you're going to need your tax returns. You're going to need to show how you were financially affected by COVID. So probably a year-over-year comparison. And so speaking to some of the folks that would help you get all your ducks in a row is a great place to start. And at the end of the day, if you're looking for a resource to help you, by all means, contact the chamber. One of our great roles in the community is to connect folks. And so coming to us, asking us, I'm looking for someone who can help me with this. And honestly, we have so much talent as other members of the chamber, so we can help point you in the right direction. And so we are absolutely a spot to help direct you and get you the help you need to potentially go down this path and get a grant.
Thank you so much for catching us up on that. I think this is a great opportunity. I know sometimes in the past we've had some programs and we didn't have a lot of applications. I'm hoping this is a new one and we start to see a lot of activity. I know there's a lot of businesses who deserve it right here in Woburn. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to hear about anything else going at the chamber while I've got you that you want to give a shout out to.
We do have a couple of other events coming up. So let me just do a quick mention. If Women of Woburn business event at McHugh's on just this Wednesday at 9 a.m. McHugh's is hosting us for an early preview. We're going to focus on microgreens, what it is to how you cook with them, how you make smoothies with them, and how do you grow them. We have an upcoming networking event on April 12th that is hosted by Gentle Dental right in Woburn Center. And that's a great way to come back out and meet folks. And we're looking at pulling together a wellness fair towards the end of April. So that's something also to keep your eye out. And then if you are a golfer, May 2nd is a day to remember because we're hosting an annual golf tournament, which also promises to be lots of fun. And then it's actually a nice fundraiser for local scholarships. So that's
awesome stuff going on at the chamber. Thank you so much for sharing those with us. I hope many of you will be involved. And as always, Woburn, continue to take good care of each other.